Yo and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector, and welcome to my 2021 year in review for the hobby for me. And not necessarily about the hobby in general, although in the hobby in general, it was a absolutely bonkers year. We're all aware the continued rise in popularity of the hobby, crazy things happening like Topps losing its license to create sports cards and baseball cards, well, baseball cards in particular. So just a crazy, crazy year. And I think we would all agree the continued, pandemic, etc. Nutso, right? But one of the funnest years I think I can remember in the hobby. And for me, as the years go on, this is my 2021, I'm celebrating my 40th year in the hobby. It's a long time. And as I go through this process of growing older and acquiring new things and building the collection, I only get more and more excited about the future. And we'll talk about what I think next year and all that later. No apologies for however long this video ends up being, because I'm just going to talk and show some stuff off and go through different facets of my collection and yada yada. Really of my hobby, the facets of my hobby, because when I was younger, obviously, it was just the collection. It was just cards. And in 2021, it's now my collection, creating content, going to bunches of shows, and my social network, my friends. All are huge parts of what the hobby is for me in 2021. If you take any of those elements out, the hobby is less enjoyable for me. Without shows, it's less enjoyable, like the National. Without my friends, it's way less enjoyable. Without creating content for you guys, way less enjoyable. I love doing this. And of course, without the cards, what's the point? So all of those things build on each other and complement each other to make this hobby so much fun for me in 2021 and beyond. So I want to go through each of those facets, those four facets, and kind of talk about the year for me and maybe a little bit of look ahead of 2022. I've made a lot of notes today just so I can make sure I stay on point, on track, and not ramble too much. So on the content creation side, on my channel side, here on Baseball Collector, I moved over to Bench Clear Media in July 2020, did that exclusively for a year. And then in July 2021, I talked to Ty and I said, hey, I want to go start doing videos back again on Baseball Collector. And, he was totally okay with it. And so I started doing more kind of personal collection type stuff over here, continuing to do stuff on Bench Clear Media. And that started in July of this year. This year I added a little over 600 subs to Baseball Collector. So thank you to all of you that have subscribed, kind of joined the following of people watching my content. It's so awesome, and I really appreciate it. In terms of what I'm doing on Bench Clear, still doing we started On the Fly, which is a new show that Ty and I are doing, trying to do that weekly. Continuing to do Golden Age of Cardboard, which is a podcast that I really love doing, and the outpouring of support for that has been amazing. So in fact, I'm shooting an episode of Golden Age of Cardboard later today. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll have to just tune in. So that's coming. We did Hobby Palooza again on Bench Clear, which was the second year we've done that. We plan on continuing to do that next year and beyond. We'll kind of see. But Bench Clear Media is just blown up, and it's unbelievable. I mean, Ty and Matt and Tyson are the other contributors to that. Ty and I are partners on Bench Clear, and it's unbelievable. We added almost 6,000 subs to Bench Clear Media in 2021, and we hope that continues to grow. There's a variety of content over there, which is why I think it's very popular. You just get different takes on different things, and just so much fun over there. And we got a lot of great stuff in mind for 2022. It'll just get bigger and better. So keep following along with that. Man, if I start talking about my friends, I could do an entire video on what my social network means to me in the hobby and what my friends mean to me. And so many that I've added in 2021, ironically, people that I've met this year, not including all the amazing people that I've known, for years now. And so to start naming people off and individualizing that would be a disservice to everyone that I call a friend and that I consider to be important to me. You all know who you are, and I really, this hobby would be so much more boring without you guys in it and without you guys to talk to and to throw ideas off of and to text and call and Instagram message and all the different ways that we communicate in this world today. It is wonderful, sometimes overwhelming, but largely wonderful. And so thank you to all of you that I consider my friends. It's been great also building just hobby contacts. And I've gotten to know Peter Steinberg over at SGC. I've gotten to know other hobby insiders and just people that I would have never met unless I was creating content or just continuing to get more involved in the hobby. I've had a lot of visitors come to the card room here and come visit. People come stay with me for card shows and just come to look at the collection and hang out. I mean, I even had Dr. James Beckett come to my house and look at the collection. That's pretty awesome. That was definitely one of the highlights of my year. And sorry, guys, I'm still recovering from COVID with a little bit of congestion. But yeah, having Dr. Beckett here was a thrill. And having him just look at my stuff and talk cards with me, it doesn't get much better than that. So much fun. Card shows. The explosion of the card show world is, one, not surprising, and two, a trend that I think is going to only continue in 2022 and beyond. And there's a lot of factors that play into that. But I think card shows are going to become the it type of way to consume this hobby. And it's because taxes and simplicity and no fees, and there's so many things that I believe in that. And just the availability of it. And there's so many of them going on now after our world has loosened up a little bit post-COVID here, or during COVID, whatever. We're not even post-COVID for sure. But I was able to go to the Dallas Card Show in January, in May, in October. Each time having different friends fly in to come. I mean, that's the kind of thing the Dallas Card Show is it's a travel event and people want to go and check it out. And then I went to an offshoot of the Dallas Card Show run by the same people called the Fort Worth Card Show. And that was in May. I did that. Early May, I did that. I went to the Industry Summit in Las Vegas with Ty and Matt in September. There was a card show with that. And then, of course, there's the National, the show, in late July, early August up in Chicago. If everybody doesn't say the National, if you go, isn't one of your highlights for the year, I would be surprised. It would really shock me because it's just such an experience. It's more than just the cards, although I got some great cards. It's more than just the friends, and I met tons of great people. It's all of it together. It's this gigantic mecca hobby experience that is absolutely impossible to beat. The whole thing. And the fact that we hopefully will do it next year in Atlantic City. I've already booked my hotel room. Did it literally 2 days 2 weeks after the National this year. I had my accommodations booked, Airbnb, staying with even more friends, expanding that, just getting bigger and bigger every year. And so I cannot wait for Atlantic City next year. Technically, it's still next year because it's still 2021 for a couple more days. But the National is just one of those things that if you can find a way to go, you need to go if you've never been. If you've been, you know what you're missing out on and you know you need to go. So more to come on that in 2022 for sure, but aim for AC, as Eric likes to say. The core of everything is my collection. Again, been doing it for so long that I've never kind of looked back year to year and what have I added, what haven't I added. it just all kind of blends in and just grows and continues to get bigger, which is great because I don't sell stuff. It's just all coming in and more and more. What I saw this year was an absolute decrease in number of stuff that I added, number of items that I added. I don't know that I spent a ton less this year than last year, although I don't track that because I don't want to know. I just spend what I can spend, and that is what it is. I could probably go figure it out, but I have no interest in doing that. But in terms of adding slabs, like if you kind of want to, at a top level, assess how much my collection grew, how many slabs did I add? Well, this year I added 230 regular just PSA slabs. I added 41 PSA DNA slabs, so a total of 271, which sounds like a lot, and it is. What's that? Almost one a day for the whole, if you looked at the whole year, 365 days. But compared to last year, when I was able to add almost 500 slabs total, 417 regular slabs, 75 PSA DNA slabs, that's like half, just under half, or just more than half, that I added this year than I did last year. And there's so many factors that go into that. Obviously, the increase in prices that we saw in 2021 or beginning of 2021, and really they've come down quite a bit, but still nowhere close to where they were, early 2020. And it's just become so much more costly to add items to my collection. And the items I'm needing to add to my collection are ones that are kind of on the top end, on the upper end, or they're just so scarce. It's just so hard to find them. And that'll make sense here in a second. I have bunches of projects, tons of them, right? As you guys know, but Hall of Fame autographs is one of my favorite things that I do. And I'm now at 252 different Hall of Fame autographs. Some of that due to, I don't know how many I really added, honestly, if I think about it. I don't know that I added any real big ones that I didn't have. I think I added Grover Cleveland Alexander this year. But other than that, not a ton. I did add some, obviously, because we elected, the Hall of Fame announced 6 new Hall of Fame members from the Veterans Committee, era committees, whatever. And there'll be a few more potentially from the writer's ballot, which we won't know that till late January. But 252, that's out of 339 Hall of Famers in baseball. It means I've got almost right under 75% of them, which is a huge number. I mean, to be over 250 is pretty crazy. To get to 260, to get to 270, all nuts in terms of cost. And so that's something that's going to slow down, I think, over time. I'll add new Hall of Famers, obviously, of new guys that get elected over the next year or two. But in terms of adding players, I need Christy Mathewson. I need, they're just, it's all crazy, crazy money. I do have now 2,781 total Hall of Famer autographs. That's pretty nuts. Next year, I'm sure I'll go over 3,000 total, because those are things that I pick up and just add because I like to. Like, why do I need 3,000 Hall of Famer autographs? I don't need any of this stuff, actually. But I like it, and I like adding stuff. I was able to complete a bunch of Topps base card player runs for slabs, which is something I really enjoy doing. I completed Nolan Ryan. I completed Roberto Clemente. I completed Sandy Koufax. I completed Carl Yastrzemski, Rod Carew. So as I continue to add to the collection overall, holes get filled and player runs get finished. And those are so much fun. I love doing those showcases once I get them done. It's fun to see a person's career in cardboard. A player's career in cardboard, so awesome. The 4 decade set, which is the monstrosity of all monstrosity projects. As I started doing this several years ago, I totally knew that it was going to be a very, very long-term project, which was great. That was the point. I wanted it to be a long-term project. I like projects that I can't just finish quickly. And so what happens though is as new Hall of Famers get added, more and more cards get added to that project, which I find both wonderful and frustrating. I did a whole video talking about that. Once you got Jim Cott and Tony Oliva and Minnie Minoso and all these guys coming in, it added like 90 something cards to the 4-decade set, which is, again, if you don't know, it's just trying to get every card from Topps and Bowman from 1950 to 1989, picturing a Hall of Famer. Period, paragraph. There are currently 2,455 of those cards that can be had. And I'm trying to get them all slabbed. And I still need 589, which is a lot. But that means I'm 76%, I'm 3/4 done already, which is unbelievable. If you had told me I'd be 3/4 of the way done, I'd think you were nuts. But I do think that pace, again, is going to continue to slow because for cost reasons, obviously, as I've said. And I think scarcity is going to become a big deal. What I mean by that is Jim Cott, Ted Simmons, Harold Baines. You know, with the way grading is, especially with PSA, there's zero incentive to send in, you know, a 1982 Topps Ted Simmons. No one will do it. It would just be silly to send that card in, because even if you got a 10, you're not going to make a ton of money. So it's just going to become more and more scarce. All the slabs of the lower end cards that I need, are going to become harder and harder to find. And then you've got the top end. So there's just this, I need a lot of low end stuff, low hanging fruit, base Jim Cott cards, base Tony Oliva cards, whatever. And then I need a bunch of stuff on the high end. So there's just going to be tough sledding trying to continue to build on that. Not impossible, certainly we'll add some, but it's not going to be terribly crazy. Another huge thing that'll probably keep 2022 from being nearly the hobby year that it was even in 2021, and certainly nowhere close probably to 2020, is just some personal decisions that I'm currently not buying anything, and that will continue now until at least the first few months of 2022. I have some personal goals, some financial goals that I want to get knocked off before I restart buying cards. And so that's going to just kind of set me back, so to speak, heading into the year. Although I am going to the Dallas show in January, for sure. Probably will set up there again. And I had so much fun doing that with Josh and with Matt and with Andy. Guys, I have so many great friends. I don't even know how to even say it, in all fairness. But that's only going to get bigger, I think, in January. We're going to do that at Dallas. And then just keep going from there, doing the National, obviously. I'm excited about 2022. I think the hobby is going to be interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of changes occurring, and, you know, prices will continue to do, I think, the same. I think we're going to be pretty steady in 2022. I don't see a lot of spikes one way or another. You could have some small moves either way, and certain cards obviously will change, but the overall hobby, I think, is going to stay pretty steady in 2022. So I do have some cards I want to show off, because these are kind of my favorite pickups. I kind of went through my list of things I picked up this year, and this is just going to be some of my favorites. Let's take a look at those. We'll catch you in just a second. Hold on. All right, so now we're going to get into just some of those pickups this year that I was really happy to add. Obviously, every card I add to the collection, I want to add it, or else I wouldn't buy it. But there are just some things that stood out to me this year. Cards I added that I've been looking for a long time, or items I just thought were super cool. We're going to start with some autographs that I added that I loved. And the first one is this Jack Nicklaus. I just didn't have a Jack Nicklaus autograph. I'm a huge golf fan. I love the history of golf, and I got another autograph I got this year was Byron Nelson for golf, and I already have a Tiger Woods, and I'll just keep adding these. I want to get an Arnold Palmer and stuff like that, but the Jack was one I really wanted, and I was able to pick this one up this year. Anytime I can see cards like this, I just love, first of all, I love Derek Jeter's autograph. And so being able to buy this card was pretty terrific this year. And really glad that I did. Let me tilt this down a little bit. But yeah, love the Jeter autograph, number to 99. Love that. Trying to think ahead and think about future Hall of Famers. This was an item I picked up thanks to Frank. He knew a guy that's a Miguel Cabrera connection and all this kind of stuff, and I was able to get this 2000 Topps Traded Cabrera signed, and just so glad to add that, as Miggy is certainly going to be a Hall of Famer. Shout out to JT, Triple Crown, but that's just such a great looking autograph and card. This was an item I picked up from, I think I bought it from Mike, or maybe Garrett. I can't remember. It's been a long year, guys. But anytime adding Hall of Fame rookie cards signed is kind of holy grail stuff for me. I would love as many as I can get, and may do a showcase on these, but this 82 Topps Ripken, I'd like the 82 Topps Traded Ripken also signed. That'd be kind of neat, because the player Hall of Fame rookie cards are not as cool, but that is his rookie card. Same with this story. Johnny Bench, this was a national pickup, and I thought I got a really good deal on this card when I bought it. The Johnny Bench 68 Topps. The card's in decent shape. It's certainly miscut, kind of off center, but to get the Hall of Fame inscription, Gem Mint 10 auto, have the card on the label, on the flip, absolutely 100% for me. So that was an easy choice to pick that up. And then I keep adding to the Dick Perez collection all that I can, and slowly, surely, just whittling away at that project. I found this at the Dallas show, I want to say in May, and I bought this from a guy. I think I paid $375 or something for it. Knew it was. I told the guy, I'm like, "Thank you, I'll take this one. I think you're way underselling these things. They're pretty rare, and I think you could get more money." And sure enough, he increased his prices the next day. I took some friends to go look and try to get some of these, and too late. Opportunity missed. I probably cost my friends the opportunity to get some Mantle autographs, but very, very cool. And we'll continue to add Dick Perez stuff every chance I can get. Now onto some regular slabs that I picked up / acquired, whatever words you want to use. And I use the word acquired because this is a card that I sent in myself through JT and came back at Gem Mint 10. This is a card I literally had in the complete set. There's only 1,000 of these sets that were issued by Topps back in 2012. I had bought one on Topps.com. Excuse me. I just had it in the collection and pulled the Harper. Very, very rare Harper rookie. Harper goes on to win the MVP. There's only 37 of these graded at Gem Mint 10. So incredibly rare Bryce Harper rookie card in that grade. And so I now have one. I'm very excited about that. Two other cards that I got graded this year. There's stories with it. We've got the 50 Bowman Jackie Robinson, and then I'll show this individually in a second, the Stan Musial rookie from 48 Bowman. These two cards I acquired as part of, earlier in the year, I was helping my daughter's boyfriend's uncle. Yeah, go try to figure that one out. He had a collection from his dad of cards, all vintage, just amazing, amazing stuff. A Mantle rookie, a Mays rookie. I did several videos about that. I call it the barn find, even though it wasn't found in a barn. I get it. but those cards were just incredible. There were two that I really wanted, the Jackie here and the Mutual that you saw. So I bought them raw from him. His name happened to be Mike as well. And I took them to the National with me, graded them at the National. They came back in the exact grades that I expected them to be. The Jackie got a 2.5, which is fine. I mean, this is a absolutely iconic card. And I mean, for a 2.5, that's very well centered. And love it. Love it, love it. And then the Mutual, just a card I've wanted forever. Top 300 card by Mike Payne. You know, working on all the set registries and different things. Post-war Hall of Fame rookies, you know, you name it. And just a classic card again. This came back a 4, which I was thrilled with. And what I expected it to get. That's very fairly graded for this card. So again, just being able to occasionally buy raw is not something I'd look to do, but hey, I hit some home runs there and was able to add 2 just amazing cards to my collection. Trying to go pre-war in 2021 was very difficult. It was something that I just never got any traction on. Although early in the year, I bought this Tris Speaker. This is a 300 Great Cards card by Mike Payne. I love the T207s. I think they're very underappreciated. Tris Speaker, one of the greatest players of all time. If you don't believe me, go look at All-Time War. If you're a new guy and you war is your thing, go look at Tris Speaker. Amazing player, great Red Sox player. So yeah, this T207 brown black background, it's incredibly fairly graded. Look, as I put it in the glare, you can see all the creases in the card, but it's just gorgeous still. Well centered, love it. And that's kind of the card I can afford, you know, that's just the truth of it. So I'll take it. Dallas show pickups, did a bunch of Dallas show pickups, and one of my favorite ones is this Tony Gwynn. And I don't collect Tony Gwynn per se, but I collect awesome cards, and being able to get this 93 Finest Refractor. I didn't own a 93 Finest Refractor, I never have. Probably, in my opinion, the most beautiful set ever created, because it launched an era of just super high-end, beautiful stuff. These are rare, number to 241. Shout out to Bill, the Hall of Fame collector, because he's a Gwynn guy, and he got one of these too. But this is an 8, didn't care about the grade, happy it slabbed for protection. Picked this up with Josh, rated rookie at the Dallas show. He got the Barry Bonds, which is another great pickup, but I got the Gwynn. Just so gorgeous, the shine, I mean, unbelievable, very cool. Another Josh, you know, co-opted pickup was this Ruth here. We each got Babe Ruth 1948 Leaf cards. We both got them in ones, and I mean, just one of those cards of all time, right? The 48 Leaf Ruth. Hard to argue with its greatness, and a post-playing days card, but just what a great image. Very fairly graded, by the way. This card's beat to hell, but it still presents very nicely, and just happy to own one, honestly. Cards I never thought I'd own, I've picked up this year, like that card. This is another one I never thought I would get. The 48 Leaf Williams. This was a different Dallas card show. I picked it up. Funny thing, Josh picked up the 48 Leaf Jackie Robinson at the same time I picked up this. Jackie's obviously a much bigger card in terms of value, but this Ted Williams, just the color's gorgeous. I mean, it's just one of those great cards. Very well centered. Obviously got some staining and stuff, but overall, just beautiful card. And got it for a fair price. So that's always the goal. Pick up great cards at fair prices. Yes, please. Speaking of great cards at fair prices, so the collection I talked about earlier, the Barn Find collection, I ended up connecting Mike, the owner of the cards, with Mike up in Oklahoma City, who owns a card shop, MM7 Sports Cards, and they did a deal for Mike to pick up the balance of the collection, and I thought it was all a very fair deal, and just kind of helped that all happen. Then I see Mike at the Dallas show all the time, MM7 Mike, and I've been wanting a 54 Bowman Ted Williams for a long time, and I saw this, and it was just so beautiful for the assigned grade. I mean, it's a 1.5. But look at the centering, look at the color, look at everything. It's got a couple of little, I don't know if I can get them to show. Up at the top above his hat is a couple of little indentions in the card, which I think obviously brings down the numeric grade. And it's in an SGC slab, which I would normally not go for, but I just, for the price, to have this card, for the example of it, I couldn't pass it up. And I'm telling you guys, SGC is coming on. They are the real deal Holyfield in terms of what they're going to do in the grading space, because they're lower priced, they provide great service, all those things. They're for sure number 2 right now, and will continue, I think, to eat market share of PSA. Doesn't mean I'm converting necessarily. It just means I couldn't pass this up, and I just love having this card in my collection. So there is the Ted Williams. Some national pickups, and we'll be done here. Thank you guys for staying with me. Hope you're enjoying just seeing things and whatever. One of my favorite national pickups, this is going to sound crazy, but it's a 1951 Bowman George Kell PSA 4. You say, well, why? Well, the answer is because I paid $10 for this card at the National. The dealer had it at 15. I offered 10. He took it. I mean, how can you not buy that for $10? A 51 Bowman card that's 70 years old. I just had to buy it. I needed it also, by the way, but I was so thrilled just to be able to find a card like this for that low of a price in today's world. Felt like such an anomaly to me, and but thrilled to be able to grab that. Picked up another couple of cards I've been looking for literally for years and years. We've got the Dizzy Dean 1933 Gowdy, just iconic card, 300 great card by Mike Payne, and to be able to find that at the National, to get it, these are just hard to find. Not impossible, but difficult for sure. And so I had to jump on it and was able to get that one. And then the card I went to the National really hunting for and kind of going, hey, if I had one big card, I want it to be this one. And that is the 53 Bowman Color Mickey Mantle. Hunted and hunted and hunted and hunted and looked and saw dozens of them at the National. They were certainly there. But finding the combination of the right card, the right grade, the right price, all of those things, that's so much part of the fun in collecting sports cards. Is if you wanted one, you can go buy one whenever you want. It's finding the right one that fits your collection, that makes sense for you in terms of all of those cost, condition, etc. And this one met all of those criteria for me. Actually, I think JT found it. And I went and made a deal for it, and just so happy to add the Mickey Mantle 53 Bowman Color. So that is it, guys. What a great year in the hobby. I hope everybody also had a great year, and I hope 2022 is even better for everyone. We will talk to you guys soon, and keep collecting.